Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. We're going to be talking about Belarus here again in this video. This gentleman right here is Belarusian Defense Minister Viktor Krenin. Okay, he was having a meeting with the president of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, and they were discussing some sort of plot where supposedly Poland was plotting with Washington, which is, the United States, to carry out some sort of large scale provocation. Okay, and we'll talk about that in an article in just a minute about what that is. But apparently, they got some news of this, and they were worried that Poland was going to try to, force something upon Belarus to get them to respond. So this defense minister came out and said, if any aircraft were to enter our airspace, we will immediately shoot them down without warning. Without warning. Okay? So obviously there's something going on over here. And obviously, as well, this Steadfast Defender 2024 exercise is going on. It's inside of Poland and in that region next to Belarus where a lot of these exercises are taking place. So there's lots of military vehicles over here in this area, helicopters, warplanes, and troops, 90 plus thousand troops in this region. So maybe Belarus feels threatened by this, but that's what they came out and said. So let me get into this article here so I can give you guys some more information, because this is very concerning. Belarus issues ominous warning to NATO. This is on Newsweek. Okay, Russia's closest ally, Belarus, has said that its military would shoot down any aircraft that came into its airspace in what appears to be Minsk's latest threat to NATO. The warning by Belarusian Defense Minister Viktor Krenin comes as the Polish Foreign Ministry told Newsweek that Minsk's rhetoric was destabilizing the region. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko said Poland, a NATO member, was plotting with Washington to carry out a large-scale provocation. Newsweek contacted NATO for comment on Friday. Lukashenko is Putin's closest ally and so far refrained from closer Belarusian involvement in his full-scale invasion of Ukraine, although the country he has ruled with an iron fist has been used as a staging post by Moscow's forces. Minsk will not stand on ceremony in the event of its airspace is violated. Krenin told Kremlin-linked Russia 24, according to Belarusian state media outlet TVR, if they lose their minds and enter our airspace, of course we'll shoot them down without warning, okay? Without warning, they will shoot down a NATO warplane that enters their warspace. The Belarusian outlet reported that Krenin warned of Poland's deployment of defense systems in the northern Polish village of Redzikowo, as well as aggressive militaristic statements by the Polish leadership regarding the increase in number of their armed forces. So apparently they're boosting their armed forces, the Polish army is, and they're talking about this deployment of defense systems in the northern Polish village of Redzikowo. Now, I don't know about that because I do know that recently, I don't know, in the last 6 months or so, Poland was declaring that they were removing Patriot missile systems from eastern Poland. Now, I don't know why they would do that. Why would you want to let a country that's technically your enemy right next door to you? Why would you want them to know that you're removing your Patriot missile systems? But supposedly they were doing that. So I don't know. Maybe they're just putting them back in. I'm not sure, but I'm just putting my 2 cents in there for you. So Krenin added that NATO exercises held near the borders of Belarus were not transparent and said that joint Russian-Belarusian military drills would take place in 2025 as tensions between Lukashenko's regime and the West increase. So see, we know for sure things are going to be getting bad here in the next year or so, maybe sooner, but we have lots of reports, many different countries, defense ministers coming out and saying that war could kick off here in the next 5 to 8 years. So it makes sense why Russia and Belarus are doing these drills in next year. There is speculation that an agreement struck last month between leaders to integrate more closely the economies of Russia and Belarus, known as the Union State, could presage Belarusian forces joining with Russian troops in the battlefield. However, as yet, There are no indications that will happen. Well, what we do know is that Belarus has been training with the Wagner forces, or the Wagner group, whatever you want to call it. This Wagner group has been there training Belarusian forces for quite some time now. I believe they're still training there. So, Belarusian leader Lukashenko told his security and military officials on Tuesday that Polish American intelligence was preparing a large scale provocation against Polish civilians, which will be blamed on Russia and Belarus. That's interesting. Apparently, I don't know, they're claiming that they're planning something, some sort of uprising that will be against the Polish citizens to blame on Russia and Belarus. So, however, the Polish Foreign Ministry told Newsweek in a statement that Lukashenko's comments were further example of Minsk's hostile and confrontational policy. Baseless accusations and the shifting of responsibility by the Belarusian authorities for the current situation in the region have permanently entered the arsenal of Minsk's foreign policy tools, the ministry said. They serve as an excuse for the introduction of more solutions whose only aim is further escalation. It's very interesting, these reports that come out. I see the same exact style. I see if the I want to call it the axis, okay? So like Iran, North Korea, Russia, Belarus, any of these countries that are not part of the West, if they ever come out, even Yemen with the Houthis, if they ever come out and say something that sounds like kind of crazy, and they're like, hey, we've got intelligence that, the NATO's planning this, or the United States is planning that, so we're trying to get ready and defend ourselves. If you notice, it's the same rhetoric over and over, where the West will come out and immediately say, you guys are a bunch of liars, quit making stuff up, and quit trying to make everything worse in the region, quit trying to escalate everything. Do you notice that? It's the same style of rhetoric, of explanation every single time when the West gets accused of something that they could potentially be doing. I'm not saying they are doing it, but potentially doing it, because obviously we only get what we get from the news. We don't know what's actually going on, right? Belarus acts as one of the main destabilizing factors of the security situation in the region, Warsaw's statement added. While Belarus has already made numerous accusations and allegations against Poland in the past, so far it is only Minsk's actions that have been the source of all tensions. Elsewhere in the interview with Russia 24, Krenin also accused the West of using crewed and uncrewed aircraft, as well as satellites, to conduct reconnaissance in Belarus ahead of military action. Ahead of military action, wow. So, who knows? Maybe this exercise could be a cover for gathering intelligence inside of Belarus. Yeah, because I would think that if a war did kick off with Russia, Belarus would be right in the middle of it, which would be very terrible for them. Their country would be destroyed because many of the fighting would be going on inside of Belarus. If the Russians had to come to aid Belarus, the fighting would go on there because they're right in the middle of Russia and NATO. The West has taken an active interest in our strategic settlements and military bases, Krenin said. However, he added that Minsk did not need to build up its forces on the border with Ukraine, where sabotage groups pose a greater threat. So I guess they're more concerned about threats inside their country versus Ukraine. Obviously the war going on in Ukraine, and Belarus is clearly not an ally to Ukraine. They're an ally to Russia. All right, so this is getting very interesting, what's going on over here. This, once again, is another report coming out from Belarus. I just put out a report a couple days ago talking about the President Lukashenko of Belarus claiming that, the world was destabilized, the region was destabilized, and that World War III was right around the corner. So very crazy what we're seeing here. Again, there's just more provocative acts, more aggression coming out. Okay, and I just put out a video recently too that Russia was threatening to shoot down a French warplane, and with extreme aggression, like right away being like, we will destroy your plane right now, and they weren't even flying in like Russian airspace or anything. So, as I've been saying, the Russians and now the Belarusians seem to be getting very like hostile. Okay. And I'm not saying that no one else is being hostile. I'm not saying the West is not hostile, but their posture is starting to become more aggressive. And what I'm saying is that that's showing that we're getting that much closer to a potential war breaking out. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you got something out of this, please hit the like button. And also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. We do put out several of these updates every single day. So I appreciate you being here. Thanks again so much for watching. Hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. We'll see you in the next one.